Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's well. Just let the numbers clock up here, people who are joining. Feel free to say hi in the chat or ask me a question while we're waiting. So for those of you who are just joining for the first time, my name is Annie Perry and I have been running these sessions for the Fertility Network for ages now, March 2020, so can't quite believe it. And we've been doing them in these little blocks since then, basically, with little breaks in between. So I think the numbers have stopped clocking up. Okay, so I'll quickly just answer this question. So someone had a frozen transfer today. I never mentioned names because I don't know whether even though it comes up, I'll just never mention your name, okay? But I've got a question here. I had a frozen transfer today. Will I need to avoid anything? So the only thing I'm going to say is yes, the physical yoga. So I think you should just rest for 48 hours. That being said, stay and do some breathing, and we usually start our relaxation. I aim to start it. I mean, this is only meant to be an hour, but we kind of go over it usually. So you can do the relaxation at the end. And I'm sorry to say that. I just go by sort of standards of recommendations in terms of after transfer and after retrieval, 48 hours, no physical exercise of any kind of anything really. So if you're okay just to do the relaxation and the breathing, if that's all right. Someone else, hello, I would do my transfer next week. Can I do fertility yoga during the 2-week wait? Now you can. So what I just said there to the lady who's just had her frozen transfer today, which by the way, oh my goodness, get everything crossed for you. After those 48 hours, you can do yoga, and I think it helps. So, okay. Yeah, and there's another kind of surgery. So someone else had a surgery over 8 weeks ago. So I reckon 8 weeks is usually what I say to clients with surgery. But just see with everything, whether or not there's like an issue or whether or not you're just in this fertility journey trying to conceive a baby, just listen to your body at every point, okay? And I'm talking about even where you are in your menstrual cycle. You'll hear me banging on about that an awful lot. As women, we do need to be really mindful with everything that's going on in our cycle, and just with times of higher energy, go with that. Times of lower energy, go with that, okay? So hope that answers those questions. Okay, that's somebody. I'm really sorry if you're back after having a miscarriage. That's really, really tough, and I'm so sorry, but I'm glad you're back and you're ready to continue on this journey. So I'm really happy that you're back. Someone else just saying that, so for early pregnancy, I would say, I'm trying to think what I've got planned tonight. This yoga is quite stimulating, okay? And I always say when clients are eventually successful in this journey, to move into a more suitable pregnancy class. So, but that's amazing. But I would say it's too much for me to keep you right in terms of this style of yoga versus pregnancy yoga, okay? Carpal tunnel is a difficult one as well. We do a lot in terms of yoga to help carpal tunnel syndrome. It can help, but there's a lot of pressing onto hands and wrists, and you have to make a lot of adaptations, perhaps coming up onto fists instead of on your hands. So again, that's a different kind of style of yoga, okay? So I'm going to get started with our, okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Just give me a wee message, okay? And you know, you can always message me. Quite a lot of you do. Best place is at probably Instagram at Annie Perry Yoga. I think that's yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm not with it today. Right, let's do the disclaimer and let's get cracking with some yoga. Okay, I always have to do this little disclaimer every week. When practicing yoga online, it is up to the individual to assess whether they're ready for the class that they have chosen, in this case, fertility yoga. Obviously, if you suffer from specific injuries or disease, it's best to consult with your doctor first. The practice of yoga asanas requires you, the practitioner, to gauge the safety of your practice within your personal physical limitations. It is better to build up slowly rather than to force or strain. Whilst one may feel exertion, one must also feel relaxed. The techniques and suggestions presented in this webinar are not intended to substitute for proper medical advice, and you should always contact your doctor before beginning any new exercise program. Both Fertility Network and Annie Perry assume no responsibility for injuries suffered while practicing these techniques. Okay, so just remember, it is all about being kind to yourself. It is all about listening to your body. Okay, so we're going to get cracking. I think I've covered everything. I'll move over to my mat, and I knew I'd forgotten something. I just need to share the music with you. Okay, right. Double check the questions, make sure I've not missed anything. Perfect, we've not. Right, are we ready, guys? So last week we were looking at sleep and the importance of it. I think I need to move this back a little bit so we can see my mat. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Oh, hang on. Sorry, guys. Forward a bit even. There we go. Right. So last week we were doing, we did sleep. So I want to start looking at, our topic last week was very kind of medical almost, wasn't it? Looking at the importance of sleep for taking stress levels down and helping with your fertility. We're going to delve a little bit into kind of yoga philosophy tonight. Nothing too deep, nothing too much. But if you've been coming a wee while, you'll have heard me speak about the chakras. So when we're looking at fertility yoga, we tend to focus on one particular chakra, which is called the Sacral Chakra, but there's three really that we kind of concentrate on. So they're basically energy centers in the body, okay, according to yoga philosophy. Starting off at the pelvic floor-ish is your root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown of the head, okay? So it's very basic level. But what we try and stimulate and concentrate on is the bottom three, not really any, because physically they form what's called a khanda, a bulb, and we focus on them. So we focus on them in terms of how we move the body and how we stimulate the energy. And just with our little meditations and things as well. So we're going to look at the sacral chakra tonight and do a little meditation associated with that, okay? So the colour associated with the sacral chakra is orange. So when we're moving, let's try and we'll start off, we'll do a little breathing technique, then we'll move and do our yoga, and then we'll do a meditation, which is linked, okay? So we're going to, I tend to I quite like us starting every practice in what's called constructive rest to do our breathing techniques, okay? So this is a posture where we lie down on our backs and we take our knees bent and we come down, okay? Just another little question there, 2 seconds. Oh, I can't hear the music. I couldn't hear it either. I don't know what's happened there. Thanks very much. Oh, decided it was going to stop. That should be it now. Thank you. I thought I was going mad there. I thought it was just dead quiet, but that should be us now. Thank you for pointing that out. Right. So let's get onto our backs, okay? Okay, constructive rest. I'm just talking you through this, okay? So this is a wonderful posture for releasing tension, gripping, anything going on and the pelvic bowl and the hips and the psoas muscle, all of that. So that's why I'm a big fan, particularly in this class. And I think it's nice to start the practice here, okay? So get yourself here, okay? So knees are bent. Check that your heels aren't like tucked right up as if you're almost coming into a bridge and pushing yourself up. You're just having them nice and loose, okay? The whole object here is to release tension through the hips, okay? You want to kind of feel that everything's just quite loose and released into the hips. If you're struggling with that and it feels like I'm just not comfortable, I actually do feel there's tension and pain in the hips. Sometimes it's quite nice to do like a little windshield wiper legs, just taking the knees both to one side into center, then over to the other side. It just helps just getting released. And we're going to start moving a little bit more shortly, but I just want you to feel really released and surrendered to the floor. Then with your hands, I want you to bring them and place them over your womb space, okay? So over the kind of lower belly. So when we place our hands, it's really nice to make a little mudra, a little hand gesture where we bring the thumbs together and place them just below the belly button, the index fingers together, pointing down. Okay, and just begin. So we want you to close your eyes. And I want you to begin to really focus the awareness into the womb space, okay? And for the sacral chakra as well, in terms of its physical location, it kind of wraps all the way around the body. So the sacrum, so you know the sacrum bone at the back, so it's with the bottom of the pelvis, at the pelvis at the bottom of the back. So it's quite a 3D kind of concept of where it is all the way wrapping round. So I want you to really take your awareness there, and I want you to send the breath there. And you'll think, what does she even mean sending the breath there? But all it is I want you to do a deep belly breath. I want you to feel the hands rise and fall as the belly rises and falls, okay? I'm just going to sit up so I can talk to you a little easier. So your awareness is drawing here, okay? Your awareness is coming to the sacral chakra. And I want you to visualize a little seed of orange light deep down, okay? Imagine a beam of orange light going straight deep into the lower abdomen. It can help to think of physical things that give you that sense of color. So there's a marigold, a huge orange ball of light. Visualize that flower, all the petals formed. Really visualize the layers of the petal, the shape of the flower. Really getting a strong visualization of that orange flower on a summer's day. Stamens of it laden with pollen. Be aware of the heady scent of these flowers. Feel yourself become drowsy with the perfume. And now, as your hands are rising and falling and the belly's rising and falling and your awareness, every awareness of your body is down into the womb space, I want you to breathe in the color orange, to really take in that life force, the strong, vibrant color, the feelings of joy, of brilliance, Think of that flower again, so full of sunshine, so full of upliftment. And I want you to allow this healing light and energy to sweep through your body, filling you with positive thought, with clarity of thought, with a willingness to let go and move forward. That can be a really hard one, letting go and moving forward. Okay? And I want you to keep this real strong awareness to the sacral chakra, to this sense of orange light flooding this area, and just really tuning in with those attributes associated with this chakra. So joy, upliftment, and positive energy. Okay? We're going to try and keep that flowing throughout our whole practice, okay? So hopefully you're breathing a little deeper. Hopefully you feel ready to move forward, and that can just be even just in a sense of let's move forward with our yoga practice tonight, okay? So you can open your eyes, because we'll need to open our eyes to guide ourselves in the physical part of the practice. And then we're going to just start off with a really gentle number 4 position, okay? So we're staying in constructive rest, exactly as we are, but then we're going to lift our left foot off the mat and we are going to cross it over so that the left ankle just rests on the right thigh, okay? So you're now making, like if you lifted up your head, you can see you've made a little triangle that you can see through, and there's variations of this where we can get a little deeper, but we're still warming up, okay? So we're not launching into anything drastic, all right? So we're going to take our left knee and just gently kind of send it away towards the bottom of the mat, okay? See, instead of having it right up like that, just move it down. So we're just creating a bit of space in the pelvis. We're starting to get moving in that area, but in a really gentle way, okay? We're going to keep our focus on the breath as well as we move through the practice, all right? Soft breath moving in and out. It's a real focus for us as we move through, right? Let's just gently stretch the other legs, okay? So cross it over. And just at every point, just notice the sensations in the body as you move into all the different postures. Like, how does it feel? Is there tension there? Is there a little bit of pain? I don't want pain. We just want, we back off with pain, but we want to just notice what's going on in the body, okay? Little subtleties, little gripping, little tension in the body, okay? And then we're going to drop down, and then we're going to take both our knees and just pull them in towards our chest. This is a position called Apanasana. So we link our hands round the knees and just gently draw them in. So a couple of provisos. If you've done that and you're like, oh, that's heavily uncomfortable, particularly if you're on stims or something, or if you're menstruating just now and you think, oh, no, I don't want to pull my legs against my belly like that. What you can do is just create a little space, just open your knees, draw the knees in, like you're getting the stretch through the glutes, but you're not pressing on the belly quite the same, okay? Always little adaptations. All right. And then what we're going to do is just roll onto our side and we're going to come up to seated position, okay? So I'm going to do a position again, I think we did last week, or it might have been the week before, grinding the mill or stirring the porridge. You'll see a lot of repetition in what I do with you guys, and this is obviously, it's isn't me just being lazy. This is me trying to get things in your head that you think, oh yeah, I definitely remember that one. I can keep going with that daily. This is one I think it's brilliant to start your day. It's so energizing. I know it's not the start of the day, but it's lovely, and it is so heavily linked into the sacral chakra. Okay, it's really, really nice one. So another way of another name for it is Shakti Bandha, freeing of feminine energy, which I think is just lush. Move it back a little bit. Okay, so I've got my legs wide. Now I took, I think, a little bit too wide there. If we're still warming up, okay, but it's a wide legged posture, okay, and we don't want slumping here. We want to lift up, okay, we want our toes towards the ceiling. And then what we do is we take our hands out in front and we clasp them, okay, and we're going to get moving with circles, okay. So you just start, so stirring the porridge, okay. I think I say this every time we do it, but it's like you're stirring a big pot of porridge in between your legs and your hands are clasping a big wooden spoon, okay. And you start off really small, okay, and you get bigger, and you get bigger, okay, but we're not forcing this into big circles, you know. Sometimes I do this and I just have no inclination to go wider because it's just where I am, and then other days I'm doing it and I'm like, wow, you know. So just all these subtleties are telling you things about your body, okay. So as I say, start off small and then let it get bigger and bigger. You can maybe remind yourself of that marigold flower. It might not be your bag to visualize a flower if you have no clue about gardening or anything. You're like, I can't even think what she's talking about. So you can do your own thing to think of that beautiful colour orange. You can visualize like a sunset or actual beautiful orange, dead ripe and stuff. You know, there's make the practice your own as much as you can, okay? Okay. We're going to come in and then we're going to be doing that exact same thing but in the opposite direction, okay? So we're taking our hands and just slight subtlety, just changing the way we've clasped them so that the thumb that was at the front is now in the different position. Okay, am I going the same way? I always do that, I always just launch into the same way. So just check and make sure you're going the opposite way. Okay, slow everything down. All right, so I want to do some moon salutations tonight, okay? The only thing is I just feel we need to move our pelvis a little bit more before we do that, okay? I was just about to launch into them there, but I don't know about you, but I just feel I need to just do a little bit more work into the pelvis just by tilting it in a different way. So we've been circling. Now I want to do like that kind of movement with the pelvis. We're just going to do that from Sukhasana, a nice cross-legged position, okay? Hands onto your knees, and we're just going to kind of get that rocking sensation going, okay? So a nice way to do that is to inhale and lift up with the breastbone up and take your gaze up towards your ceiling and kind of arch your back. And then as you exhale, take the chin onto the chest and you kind of almost rock back a little. It feels a lot like cat to cow. It's like a seated cat to cow. I just think it's nice to get that energy awoken at the pelvis. Get like all that stagnation from sitting all day. I'm not saying you've been sitting all day, but I have a lot of the day, and I'm just feel this time of night when you're doing a yoga practice, it's nice to kind of just awaken all that energy and get it moving. Okay. Okay, now I think we can get moving a little bit more from standing. Okay, so let's get up to standing and we're going to do 3 moon salutations. Okay, so I kind of do these when I'm working with fertility clients because they're a good way to kind of get the body moving and flowing without it getting into the realms of like really quite powerful yoga where you get too much heat built in the body. So they're called moon salutations, not sun salutations for that reason. It's a cooler energy we're aiming for. Okay, so what we want to do is come up to the top of our mat and get into a position called Tadasana, okay, which isn't just standing. Okay, it's not, Tadasana isn't just standing waiting for the next bit of the practice to happen. It is a posture in itself, and I always talk about it, and I'm probably boring you all to tears, but it is really good for fostering that connection and sense of grounding, okay, and just checking out your posture really as well. Okay, so like spread the toes, really feel both feet nice and firmly connected. Okay, so there's like a good weight through all of the foot, big toe, little toe, heel. Then we're going to just engage through the legs, okay, and lift that energy up. Then when we get to the pelvis, we find that mula bandha, the pelvic floor, whatever you want to call it, the root chakra, and given a kind of activation there and a lift. Then a slight drawing in of the navel towards the spine and lift. So you can see we're starting to draw the energy all the way up the body, okay? The shoulders are open and the hands are down by our side, and the energy's coming and shooting all the way out through the top of the head, okay? Does that make sense? Then we begin our moon salutation. So we inhale and we lift the hands up. Keep them at shoulder width, okay? Sometimes we bring the hands together, but I just want to keep them at shoulder width tonight. And then we're going to exhale, and instead of going into standing forward fold, we're doing a chair pose, okay? So we're just bending into the knees, and we're just kind of imagining we're sitting down in a chair, okay? You're still reaching up with the hands. It's just one breath though. So then we inhale, lift, then we exhale, and we begin to fold forward into standing forward fold, okay? Then I want you to move into a a low lunge, okay? So we're going to invite a bend in the knees and take the left foot back, drop it down and drop the knee down as well at the back into a nice low lunge, okay? Keep the hands on the floor and just allow that really wonderful stretch to happen through the pelvis. Then we make our way to downward facing dog, okay? So if you're feeling quite energetic, you might be able just to sweep all the way up to down dog from there, or you might just want to, from low lunge, come to tabletop, all fours, and then come up to down dog, okay? We'll just spend a couple of breaths in down dog, just trying to kind of walk through the knees and awaken the body, okay? So keep there. Then we are literally just going to drop the knees to table pose, take an inhale, and then we're going to take our bum down to our heels and come into child's pose, okay? So child's pose next. Inhale and exhale. Then we inhale up and we lift all the way up onto high knees and we sweep the hands up above our head. Okay. Nice breath there. Then you're going to come down again and you're into child's pose again. Then you're going to inhale up to table again and then downward dog again, okay? Tuck the toes under. So fingers are spread in down dog, pushing the weight away from the arms. Okay. And then we want to get to our low lunge on the other side. So we're just going to drop the knees down to table. And then what foot comes forward? What foot do we go back with? Left. So left foot comes forward this time. Okay. into low lunge on the other side. Okay, and then we need to make our way to standing forward fold. Okay, so it can be quite nice to get a little bit of momentum going, a little rock back, tuck the toes under at the back and step forward to standing forward fold. Then we're going to really press into the feet, okay, because we're moving up to that chair pose again. Spoiler alert. We're going to lift up. We're going to go straight with the legs first. We're going to sweep the hands up, hands at hip, shoulder width, down into chair. Quite a strong posture. Really stimulating though. Then lift up, hands to prayer, and down and over your heart. So that was one round, okay? We're going to go again, all right? So that's okay. I'm trying not to labour into every posture and tell you every detail, because I want you to flow here and enjoy it and not have me rabbiting on so much, okay? So I'm hoping I don't have to, but I never really talked about down dog and I just launched into it. So I'll maybe just talk a little bit more about down dog when we're there, but everything else should be okay, because we've been through it before. All right, Tadasana, mountain pose. Okay, inhale, lift, hands into shoulder width. Exhale, down, chair. Inhale, lift again. Exhale, standing forward fold. Release your head and neck and standing forward fold. I want that to be nice and loosey-goosey, okay? Let's go right foot back this time. Low lunge. Then we're up to down dog, so either via table or up to down dog. So fingers are spread, okay? The hands are very spread. The weight is pushing back from the wrists. You can do that walking it out if you want again. I still feel quite stiff as well through the legs. Okay, drop down to table position. Take an inhale. Exhale, sink down to child's pose. Bum to heels, hands coming out in front, forehead onto the mat. Then we're going to lift up, high knees. Hands up to the ceiling. Exhale down, table, tuck the toes under, down dog. And then we are going to do our low lunge on the other side. Okay, so right foot forward. So you can either come from here, bringing the foot up to the ceiling and stepping it through, or you can come to table position and bring yourself into low lunge on this side. Okay, then we're going to tuck our toes under, just rock it out a little bit and then step forward as controlled as we can into standing forward fold. Inhale, lift up, hands above head, chair pose. Lift up, bring your hands together into prayer and draw them down the center line, finishing over your heart. Right, that's our 2 min salutes. So I was going to do 3, but I think we'll just do 2 because I need to check the time. And there's so much I always want to do with you guys. We are good. Right, a little sip of water. Make sure you guys are taking on water as well. It's amazing how thirsty yoga makes you. I'm dripping everywhere. Right, okay. We're moving into a balance called tree pose, which I'm sure you all know so well. So what we want to do is trying to be as still as we can in this balance, right? And it's amazing how when you just concentrate on that, the mind stills and quiets. And that's what we're after, okay? So I like to choose a little gaze point out in front somewhere, something to gaze at, to have a nice soft gaze. And let's go into our tree pose, okay? So we're going to imagine that our right leg is like the trunk of a tree, okay? And spread the toes out, okay? And what we're aiming for here, yes, it's a balance and everything, it's brilliant for quieting the mind, but I really want to create a bit of space and a little bit of freedom going in the sacral chakra, okay? So we're pushing down with that foot, and then take the weight out of your left and kind of bring it in, okay? So everything's in, and then just keep checking in with the pelvis, okay? Find those little bones of the pelvis, and we want them to be in a kind of line with each other, okay? We don't want it to come all off kilter, okay? We want it to be in a nice line. Okay, so the left knee is bent, you've taken the weight out, and then instead of the left knee to the front, it's just going to open up like a gate, right? And you're going to really try and open it up as much as you can. And it's amazing how much of a stretch you get just by doing that, okay? So pelvis is neutral. We're not following that leg around. We're just going to really open up with that knee, okay? And then this is where the balance comes in. To be honest, sometimes with just the way you're feeling, this feels like enough of a balance, just perching the foot on the ankle. But you can go a little deeper, bring the foot maybe up onto the calf, or if you feel you want to go higher, up onto the thigh, okay? Just don't rub it into your knee joint, okay? Right, so then with your hands, you can either bring them over your heart with the palms together in a beautiful Anjali Mudra, or you can bring them above the head. You can't actually see mine when I do that, but I'm keeping them in prayer. And you're going to gaze out in front. And just focus on the breath, okay? Focus on stillness of the mind. Okay, let's drop down. Just shake the legs out, okay? And we'll go to the other side, right? Opening it out, ankle, calf or thigh, hands over heart or above the head. Try and keep shoulders quite relaxed if you've got your hands above the head. Your chest is open. If thoughts start to creep in, which inevitably they will, I'm all over the place on this side, just let them drift over, okay? Just don't enter into any dialogue with them. Okay, and then we're coming down. All right, hands over heart and feet back to the floor. Let's really try and open up with the hips a little bit more, okay, into a nice side angle position, okay? So you're going to bring your left foot towards the top of your mat and take a nice big step out with your right, okay? Everything's going to be nice and open here, okay? So shoulders are open, heart is open, hips are open, okay? And it's quite deep. You want to go quite deep, okay? So we're going to be leaning over this bent leg, okay? As we lean over, we're not letting the body all collapse down, okay? Everything's open. So a nice way to start is just to bring your elbow at the front onto the knee, and even just bring your right hand onto your hip, just asking it to open. Right hand onto shoulder, just asking it to open. Feel how lovely that feels into the ribs here, just opening them up. Beautiful openness through the womb space, okay? When you've corrected all that, make sure you're open as much as you can. You can bring that right hand up and over, kind of really reaching. You get even more length through the torso then. Okay. You can also let that right hand come to the floor if you want. And not right hand, left hand, sorry. If you've been coming for a while, you know I'm not good at left and right. Okay, lift up. Then we'll do the other side. Okay, so I'm just actually going to change my feet over instead of moving to the front and then open again. Okay, so let's sink down. Let's check in here. Hip open, shoulder open, heart space open. Lifting up and over, or bringing the hand to the floor. Okay, lifting up, and then we're going to walk our feet in, not all the way in, as we're coming to a squat. Okay, Malasana. Okay, so I just want to explain, we want to make this so you can have squats that are quite active, where you're like about here, really kind of just sitting here and really feeling it in the thighs. I want to take you all the way down if possible. And then when you do that, it kind of shifts into a more passive posture, but it's super deep into the groin and into the hips. And I know a lot of you struggle with it, particularly with keeping the feet flat on the floor. A lot of people end up with their heels coming up. So I'm just telling you all this before we're down there. It's a bit easier to explain it before we do. So a couple of little, it's always cushions with me, or props, or yoga props, right? So first things to say is, if you know you struggle with your heels, I'm just trying to make it like household objects, because you can have like yoga blocks and stuff, but you can just prop cushions underneath so that when you come all the way down, your heels are still connected, but they're higher. Does that make sense? The other thing you can do is you're looking at me going all the way down, then you think, that's not happening. That ain't happening, Annie. What you can do is grab some cushions like that, right? And then you literally just sit on them. It feels lush actually to do it like this. So then you would come down and you'd be sitting on the cushions, but you're getting the benefits of the posture because your knees are nice and wide and you're bringing your hands inside. Does that make sense? I'm just giving you that before we go down, okay? And I'll just do it without, okay? So we can see all the different variations, all right? So just to talk you into it. Feet are about 45 degrees and they're not hip width, they're wider, okay? Knees are going to be as wide as we can manage. We're also not sticking the bum away out behind, okay? We want to kind of keep it tucked under, all right? Hands over our heart. And then we're going to sink down, okay? Into our squat. So taking the sit bones towards the floor, okay? It's quite nice having the hands over the heart because then the elbows just sort of prop in between the knees. And we're just breathing. And you know, you can have a little rock side to side, but I think I'm just happy, quite centered tonight. Focus on the breath. Really, I mean, this is, as soon as we come out of this is going to flood your womb space with beautiful oxygen-rich blood. Okay, so let's come out it now, hands onto the floor and lift all the way up. And we're not doing anything for a few breaths. I'm just going to let the lovely benefits of that just flood through the body. Okay, right. At this point in the practice, I want to move into seated postures, all right? So I'm going to sink down. And again, we're doing nice, it's a wide leg forward fold, okay? Upavistakhanasana. So we started our practice kind of similar, didn't we, with our studying the porridge. This time, maybe nudge your feet a little wider. What I always say is, oh yeah. So we're going to be doing forward folds here, right? And sometimes what people tend to do a lot of the time is try and overreach and be obsessed with how far they're getting with their hands, okay? And they end up with a big curve in the spine, and they kind of close over the pelvis and it kind of slumps. And that is the opposite of what I want us to do. I want us to create space and lift and have space here, so that when we're folding forward, all lovely stuff starts to happen, okay? So this slump into the spine is really, really common. I do it all the time. You can, what helps is propping a pillow. So I've just grabbed a little cushion and propped it underneath, okay? That can help a lot because you feel lifted, okay? You might not struggle with it at all, and you can do without. The other thing to think about is if you can make this totally lush, you can make it so that you've got something to fall onto, so that you don't then, the kind of obsession with where your hands are kind of comes out. Do you know what I mean? So you're just nice and lifted and you're just folding on to a lovely pile of cushions. Restorative yoga is lush and it is really important for you. So remember to always think about how you're feeling and what your body is telling you to do, okay? So sorry for digressing there. I just want you to get, you know, what we're looking for with this fertility style of yoga. I want you to get that from your practice, okay? Right. So legs are nice and wide, toes are nice and active towards the ceiling, lifting up. So spine is lovely and straight, chest is lovely and open, shoulders are relaxed, okay? If you're doing it with no props or anything, then we can just sweep up with the hands, and then we're going to start to tilt from the pelvis and move forward, okay? And just let the hands fall wherever they fall, okay? And just focus on relaxed shoulders, relaxed chest, and not overarching through the spine, okay? So we're going to spend quite a few breaths, okay? A lot of stimulation going on. Quite a nippy one, isn't it? It's like oof, into the inner thighs. You're like, oh gosh, but it's lush. Okay, let's lift up and then let's bring the legs together. Give them a little wobble. Okay, so this time it's another forward fold. I don't know why I'm feeling the need to move. Don't know why I'm doing that, but anyway, I am. Probably because I'm wanting on my mat again. Okay, so legs are lengthened. Same goes for this. It's called Paschimottanasana, okay? Same goes. We don't want this big rounded back. There is going to be a natural curve of the back. Just don't want to kind of slump here. I want you to have a lift of the hips, okay? Lifting the hands up and moving forward, okay? Take your gaze about mid-shin and breathe. Okay, and lift. Okay, and then we're going to bend the knees and we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Okay, I'll turn again so you can see. Okay, Baddha Konasana. Okay, really, really good for energy flow, exactly where we want it tonight, okay, exactly into the Sacral Chakra, okay, so we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to just bring our hands gently over our ankles tonight. And we are going to lift up through the spine, chest open, knees drifting towards the floor. Choose a little point to gaze at, out in front. focus on the breath. The knees coming towards the floor as a kind of direct little hinge into the hips. Lots of lovely space and lovely blood flow moving into the hips. And then we're going to hinge forward again, okay? So into another kind of forward fold. So just again, it's the same again. We don't want to collapse and slouch. We want to keep everything nice and lifted and start to hinge forward from the hips. So you might want to bring your hands off the ankles now and either make little baskets with your hands on your feet, or you might want to just bring the hands to the floor out in front. Okay, and coming up. Okay, I'm going to show you a position called Viparita Karani, which is where it's one of those powerful kind of fertility enhancing poses that we kind of know of in yoga, and it is lush just for calming the mind, and it's called legs up the wall. And we don't do it every week because sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know what you've got going on in your little yoga space at home, but I can't not tell you about it. It is important that we do it every now and then. I just move them so that I've got a little bit of room. Okay, so you need a strip of wall in your house that you're not going to kind of knock anything, just like literally the width of your legs. If you don't and you think, oh, I actually know where to do that, if you come like to the side of your couch and just kind of you can bend your knees, or at the side of your bed, or on your bed and up your headboard. Okay, right, so to explain, we're going to get ourselves with our legs up the wall, right? But you have to, what you're looking for is using that kind of right angle of the wall to the floor. That's like for your sit bones are going to go right in there, so you're using that right angle. Okay, get yourself prepared because you might want a little cushion under your head, so make it nice and cozy. And if you're doing this as well, and as we're starting to creep into autumn, getting a blanket and everything ready. Okay, basically you come and you sit right in at the sides of the wall. Okay, so I go sideways like this, and I just try and get my sit bones as close in as I can. And then there's no graceful way of getting into it. Well, I haven't found one yet, but if you've managed to find one, then good. So then I can now feel my sit bones are they're connected with the wall. So do you see what I mean about you could use your couch or your bed here? But if you were using your couch, and you're lying on the floor, you'd end up bending your legs, but that's fine. At least you're getting some of the benefits of it, okay? So the legs are up the wall, and it is a really passive posture. I'm not asking you to do anything, like the big efforts, get into it. After you're into it, you just have to enjoy the benefits, okay? So with your hands when you're here, sometimes it's really nice to just bring them over your womb. Or if you don't feel like that, then bring them down by your sides, palms facing up. Okay. And you cannot help but begin to feel calm when you do this posture, and that's why I'm doing it. It is really trying to tap into the parasympathetic side of your nervous system. Rest and digest. It brings stress hormones down massively. And also, all the blood flow. If you think about your legs, they're the powerhouse of your whole body, okay? You walk around on them all day. and the blood's pumping there. And when we're quite active like that, and we're using our legs and our arms, our body kind of triggers into another side of the nervous system sometimes, the sympathetic side, where the blood flow pumps to the extremities. And what it ends up doing is kind of robbing your beautiful little womb of oxygen-rich blood. But this steals it all back again. It's literally drifting down through the pelvis and in there. And it's lovely to do at the end of a practice that has had a lot of hip openers in it. If you imagine, we've warmed those muscles, we've warmed the fascia, and now all that blood's moving through. And when you're in it, you're like, oh, I actually could stay here for ages. The other thing it does is it's very cleansing, removing toxins because of all the lymph glands that the blood all bypasses and the lymph glands are drained. So just a few more breaths here. Another minute or so. And you may feel your eyes just automatically want to close here. And I'm not surprised because it really is moving into that rest and digest. So your eyes want to close, which is fine. Just let them. And try and get away from this doing thing all the time, that you feel like you have to be doing something and, in control. These postures teach you a lot because they're passive. I don't require anything of you apart from just to be and just be still. And it's sometimes a quite hard battle to fight with yourself, but it's really, really important, okay? Really important. So as you're having your last few breaths there, we're then going to move to Shavasana, okay? So hopefully Viparita Karani is a lovely kind of bridge from the moving part of our meditation and our practice into a much more calming state. And now we're going to lie on our backs in Shavasana. However, if you reckon you could do with another 10 minutes in Viparita Karani, then crack on and you can just do your relaxation from there, okay? Ideally, a good 5, 10, 15 minutes in that posture a day is just amazing for you. I wish I remembered to do it that much. Okay. So I want you to, I'll just give you a little wee minute in case you are shifting and moving out of that position and into Shavasana, which is lying on your back. Okay, so it's been really nice to focus on the Sacral Chakra with you tonight. What I find, so yogic philosophy and a lot of philosophy believes that we store emotions in different parts of our body, okay? I believe it too. And we can have blockages and feelings in parts of the body that just need to be let go, okay? The womb space for women is a big one. We do put a lot of things that we've kind of not really wanting to deal with there. Stuck emotions, really. So I've just got a little quote for you, just to read and kind of tap into that for you, okay? We learn to repress what is not welcome. Those emotions get stuck in our body. They become cellular memories. They are stored as body sensations and emotions, feelings and blockages in the body. The deepest repressed stuff we store in the womb, that is the place where the deepest emotions live. That's from a woman called Ulrike Remlin, Womb Awakening Mentor, okay? Out of a book that I love called Awakening Fertility. It's a kind of like Eastern medicine kind of approach. It's lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and just let go a bit in our meditation tonight. So it's a meditation that I've wrote called Surrender and Let Go. And it is a nice one for just releasing things that maybe aren't serving us very well at the moment, okay? So first things first, I just want you to close your eyes and begin to release and let go, okay? So just surrender in to the surface that you're lying on. Focus on the breath as it moves in and out. Feel the body soften and let go. Focusing on breathing in universal source energy. Focus on breathing out all tension and stress. And as you're doing that, feeling waves of relaxation across the body, I want you to imagine you're in the woods on a cold, crisp winter's day. The earth beneath your feet is cold, hard, and frozen solid. Branches crackle and splinter. Frost clings to the leaves, creating mosaic patterns. The trees are bare. The earth sleeps. You're trying to enjoy this walk in this beautiful setting, but you're carrying two bags. In one bag are a host of heavy problems and negativity. In the bag are things that you have no control over and cannot change. And this bag is weighing you down. The second bag holds all that you wish for. The bag of heavy emotions is holding you back. Bring forth these emotions now. Perhaps there's fear, perhaps frustration, perhaps anger or sadness. Now draw your attention back to the second bag. This bag holds all that you wish. Visualize yourself coming to a clearing in the woods. You're happy to see a campfire has been lit there, emanating a warm orange glow. There are some big boulders around the fire, and you sit down on a boulder. Feel the warmth of the fire. See the orange flames crackle and dance. Feel the heat emanating from the fire, warming your body with its glow. And you take some time to gaze into the fire, watching the flames dance. You're so engrossed. Your mind feels calm, ready, and focused. You're alone and private with your own thoughts and desires. There's no judgment from a single soul. Put the bag that is bothering you at your feet and peer inside. These emotions can take any form that you like, but perhaps they're all scribbled on pieces of paper. Problems, fears, worries. And begin to bring out these problems and worries one by one and place them on the fire. Watching in turn each one burn, gone, cleared from your mind and aura. And as you do this, repeat after me in your mind. I release these emotions one at a time, once and for all. I surrender and I accept what is. Continue one at a time to bring out of the bag all of this heaviness, and one by one placing on the fire the fear, the anger, sadness, and anything else that you want to burn and release. I release these emotions one at a time, once and for all. I surrender and accept what is. And as you burn and clear, you begin to feel lighter, as though a burden has been lifted from your shoulders. Your neck feels softer. You feel lighter, more relaxed, at ease, like a blockage has been shifted. You realize it's time to let go. Letting go gives me strength. Acceptance gives me power over my emotions. Surrender gives me freedom. Stand up from the fire now and lift the second bag. It feels so light. Begin your journey now out of the clearing and back on the path you took into the woods. And as you're walking back, say in your mind, I surrender, knowing that acceptance does not make me weak. It makes me strong, because I let go of attachment to things that I cannot change. And I want you to stay here relaxing now and allow yourself to feel feelings of peace at your sacral chakra and in your heart center. And I will leave the music going so that you can stay in this state of relaxation for as long as you need to. There is no sense of rush at all. Okay, so I'm bowing. I'm sending out love and gratitude to all of you for doing this practice with me tonight. And I hope to see you all next week. I think we're into week 4 next week. So I look forward to exploring more with you next week, okay? Night, night.